Welcome to the center of C&A Horses' newly finished arena. Today I'm going to show you how this came to be and what the final product looks like now. We are excited that this is done and we can share it and to take all of you along. So let's go. Before I show you the end result, we're going to go back in time and I'm going to show you all the steps it took to build this thing from scratch. It is April Fool's Day, 2023. This is not a joke. It's real. It's happening. We're at the Stanton place. This is what it looks like before it's big and beautiful and pretty. That is where the arena is going to be, so we're going to have to move all that stuff. You have to say.
Water checking.
Water checking. Looking good.
Let's go over here. This is you can start on this end and you're gonna start pushing the dirt this way in this high spot. You know what I mean? Cream cheese.
You know what I mean? Green cheese. Drive in my brother's water truck because something big and exciting is happening. Cisco is Tom Palmerin. Oh no, it's off, Cisco.
Yeah, it's got a tack on it though.
What do you have to say to yourself in 5 years?
What?
What do you have to say to yourself in 5 years?
Good job.
Good job. mustache days. Future chute going right here. Still got to finish that part. Our overhang is done. Making progress. What do you think, Supervisor Milo? He just wants some butt scratches is what he thinks. Our chute's here. You like it?
Oh.
Yay. Ooh.
Can't wait to take that tape measure off and put this one on. Well, it works.
So this, we'll be able to flip over. Peep the beautiful sunset, can't forget that. But it can slide and flip over for easy grooming. And so we can change our score length. Man, Darius, I hope you're watching that sunset. Peep the beautiful chute again. I'm starting to realize it will never be this blue again. So I'm going to document it for memories. This box is complete as well. Beautimous. Let's see how level they got it. Wow, that's pretty cool to see all the steps it took to get this thing rolling and now finished. Now that it's done, we are super excited to share it with everyone on YouTube and future customers and clients. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna show you my favorite part first. My favorite part about this arena is our west side fence line, and that is because this fence line makes this arena the perfect combo to be a team rope and trainer and just a colt starter. Right now we have this score lane in place connected off the chute, and this is a perfect training tool when you're starting young colts in the roping and you've got some fast cattle, or you just need your colt to not blow out of the box. This is our perfect tool we use to train for team roping. But let's take this out and show you what this west side fence line looks like without it. All of the gates on this fence line are hinged offset, and that makes it so that when you swing the gate open, it lays flush with the fence line. Here's another look at it with all the gates open and how they're flush. I think it looks really good, especially when you want to turn it into the team roping arena versus colt arena, and it means that nothing's ever going to get hung up on one of those gates when they're opened. You've seen how awesome this setup can be when you're riding colts and you just need a sealed off arena that has no distractions or nothing in the way. And so that's why I love our west side fence line that shuts everything out. But right now we have it set up to be the perfect training roping arena, and that's because all these gates can open up, giving you your boxes, your chutes. You can have your score lane out here. I feel like this is all included in my favorite part of the west side fence line, but I love how you can cross over this barrier, and then this is where your drag and rope and dummies are. So they're just not out in the middle of the arena. Peep the rain we got. So we'll have to see how well our arena holds water, but I love how all of this stuff can be separate and it's not in your way, or you don't have to take it somewhere really far, because we do use these training tools. But when you want to ride a colt in the arena for the first time, you don't want to have anything in your way they can possibly get hurt on. Attached to this west side fence line is the round pen opening. So we have our round pen right here in the arena, and the round pen gate opens up and you can go right out here. And I just love this feature, because that means when your colt has graduated from the round pen, you can open the gate and come right out here and see how they handle the open space. The other feature I love about our round pen that we added was this rubber belting along the outside, just to protect horses' legs and keep in future dirt. So you can see we did get quite a bit of rain and we're holding water here in the round pen. One of the upgrades we want to make as soon as possible is adding some sand into the round pen, because we find that because we can't work this ground up with our normal drag, we just love to have some sand in there that's nice and soft when you're starting colts and they're learning how to move their feet, all those things. But I love this rubber belting on the bottom side that's going to hold all of our sand in, and if you got a young colt that's kicking out or learning how to move their feet, they are protected and they're not going to get hung up in a bar. One of our big non-negotiables when designing this arena was to have the round pen connected to the arena but not take away from the arena. So I love the design, how it's in line with our other kind of separate area to keep stuff, but it's still connected to the arena, so when you're ready, you can go right out that gate. Now our round pen is 50 feet in diameter and 6 foot tall. So we like this size because it's perfect for starting young colts and doing all the groundwork. You could go with a bigger round pen if you do more of the cow work and that type of work, but we find this is the perfect size for our colt starting and groundwork, and then they're ready for the arena. Our latch design was a design that Cisco borrowed from a friend, and when it is open, I love how there's nothing sticking out on this end, so you're not going to get hung up if you're opening this gate on horseback. We also made it so it's easiest to open horseback, so you're not trying to bend over and leaning off your horse when you're open your latch. And then you just turn this up, slide it down, latch it closed, it goes flush again, and you've got your hook right there. These are super nice because say your horse does get close, you're not going to get hung up anywhere. For future additions to our arena, I did talk about adding sand to the round pen, and that's going to be really nice. But something else we're going to add in the near future is some trees around the round pen. So there will be a tree in this little nook and cranny right here that was fenced off. There will be another tree in this little nook and cranny right here. We just got to add the water line to that. And then if you go around to this other side of the round pen, farther west, there'll be another tree. And we've got our water spigot here so that if we ever want to water the round pen down because it's dry and dusty, that's an option. So I love the thought of having 3 trees that get big and tall and provide some shade when you're working in the round pen. Now we'll get to our alleyway when I show you how we bring the cows up, but our round pen was placed far enough off this back fence that we can bring our cows up along the outside of it. And that is something different that we did that I don't see in a lot of other arenas, is our return lane, our alley lane to bring the cows up, is on the left-hand side of the arena if you're facing the boxes down the arena, whereas a lot of other arenas do it on the right-hand side. But that didn't work in our setup because that's where our entry gate is. In relation to the round pen, our entry gate is south, and this was just the best place for us to put it that matched up with our road so that trucks and trailers could easily come in and out if needed in the future, hauling cows or things like that. So there's about 50 feet from this heel box to that fence line, and then about 150 feet from this heel box to that fence line. We put a lot of thought into where we wanted our roping box and our chute to sit off of that right fence line. If you're a team roper, you'll know that you want a lot of left room, but a very reputable rope horse trainer told us to leave room on that right-hand side so that when your steer goes out, they can run either to the right or the left, and then your horses are learning how to track and get in position no matter where the steer is at. We made it to the back side of the arena, and this is our strip and chute. So we've got a little gate right here that can swing shut if wanted to kind of close them in to the strip and chute. Or another good time to close this is when you're riding a colt in the arena for the first time. The concrete lift is to raise the cattle up so when you're horseback you can take your rope off easier. We've got the butt bar to hold them in, so this raises when they go under it, drops behind their bum. And then this cool little latch that's perfect when you're horseback is held shut with this little nipple, I believe they call it. And then when you take it out of that and pull back, you let your cow out. And I like how it's all sealed in with an extra bar. You go to shut it, and it hooks right in there. So we get into the lane through this gate. Same latch design on most gates. And then this would technically be the alley holding lane where the steers hang out while you're roping the other ones. But what we tend to do a lot is leave this corner pen open And then when they come out of the strip and shoot, they just run right into this corner pen, and there's water in there. So if we're taking forever, they can get themselves a drink and hang out in this little pen. That keeps our cattle running fairly straight as well, versus if their buddies were hanging out all the way at that end, they might drift a little and not want to come in this gate. So we designed all of these steer pens to hold steers and to be able to have big feeders if wanted. Right now, we don't have other horse setups at the moment, so they are actually our horse stalls as well, and then we're just using the tire feeders to feed them. But we've got nice tire drinkers that split the pens so that they can have water on a float. And so the other tire drinker is over there. This lane that the cows get to be returned to the chute in is 8 feet wide. We made everything wide enough that a skid steer could fit in if wanted. In the alleyway, we have a gate right here that can be shut. That way, if you're sorting cattle or holding cattle there and need to hold some in this part, you have some separation and the gates to do so. Now, this is the gate to get into the alleyway, and then this is the gate to get into this pen. Each steer pen has its own gate to get in from the alleyway, but then they also have their own gates to get to each other's pen from another pen. So a gate there, there, and in the very far corner over there. If needed, another gate right here that can either lock it off and keep pushing them up the return way, or this shuts and this is where you can have your load in, load out for cattle with your truck. So we go up the alleyway this way, head down. You keep going all the way down past the back side of the round pen. So we've got the round pen on this side. This little corner we did fence off because those are some important electrical and water boxes. We just wanted to have enough room that they're safe, and if we need to work on them, they've got their own little fenced in corner. They keep going around this way, and this is how the cattle get pushed into the lane to run them into the chute. So we do have an out gate right here for when you're done pushing them up, your horse goes out this way. This first gate is usually left open because generally just our 7 cows right now can fit in that first one. But we added this second gate, so if there's more cattle that we're roping, that can be shut behind them and they can't turn back. This is the one that gets shut most often. This is where it starts to narrow down, making it easier to push the cattle up. One thing we did as well is this is not as tall. That is a 5-foot tall fence. This, I believe, is about 4, but we made it shorter so that it's easier to push the cattle up. Every so often, we put a butt bar that's gonna keep them pushed up, holding them in place. Go around this little corner, and they get pushed all the way up into our very nice pre-fert chute. This little area right here that we have in between the heel box and the arena, just this little space, we are going to paint this and convert this Conex box into our future tack room. So stay tuned, that'll be its own project video of converting this into a tack room. But we want to add some shade, so whether it's raining or just super sunny and you need some shade, you got a spot to tie your horses up. And then alongside this fence line, it'll just be plenty of room for us to tie horses We do have another water spigot right there if we want to wet the boxes down, and there'll be another tree right there in that corner. If you couldn't tell, I really want a lot of trees, as many as I can in this arena. Now that we've gone over more of the layout of the arena, I'm going to show you how different materials varied. Most of the fencing was a one basic jig, but it was a little bit different here on our alleyway to lead the steers up. So I'll show you that first. Here there's the top rail and then 4 rails of sucker rod. And on the inside, we attached 2 rails each side of oil fill pipe, and that made it smaller at the bottom, which will help your steers or cows to not turn around, because really it just needs to be wide at the top where their horns are. We made the top space from the top rail to this first rail wider so that if you are putting horn wraps on, you've got plenty of room to do that. And then there's less space between each other bar so that no one's sticking their heads out and getting hung up. Our rope-in boxes are made out of 6-inch pipe, and the butt bar does swing over so that if you need to clean out the back of your box. There are holes drilled every foot so that you can slide the butt bar back and forth, changing the length of your score and practice for different setups. We set our boxes 15 foot from the alleyway, so that's how wide out they go, and the head and heel boxes are identical as far as height and length and measurements of how far you can set the butt bar back. All the perimeter of the arena is 5 foot tall, and 3 of the sides have 4 rails of sucker rod. And this top rail and the post pounded is oil filled pipe, and I will have to ask Cisco the dimensions. We'll add that here. And then the sucker rod was actually ran through the center. So Cisco made holes through the pipe using a plasma cutter and ran the sucker rod through the center and then welded around it. So it's pretty dadgum sturdy, and I think it's really well done. So 3 sides, this side, the back side, and the north side have 4 rails, and I'll show you the one side that has 5 rails. And this is the one fence line that Cisco opted to do 5 rails of sucker rod, and that being most specifically because this is where the cattle get run up, and when you start putting cows into tighter confinement, that's when they want to start looking for an out. And we thought the more bars, the better, where the cattle are going to be held up. That way, if they are trying to stick their heads out or things like that, it's not going to be very easy to get out of that. This is the jig that Cisco used. So this hangs on the top rail right there. And then depending on if you want 4 or 5 rows of the sucker rod, you would use the different jig. So that's a pretty cool tool that was used. This is just some other leftover metal. Man, look how dirty my hands are getting from touching stuff. On the back side here of our future tack shed, we've got some of our hookups and the air compressor and power box that runs to the chute. So you guys saw in our making video, there were lines dug under this so we could get all of this material ran. And in the future, we will add some type of gate or fence, kind of connect this fence just to block this area off so it's protected in case any horses get loose and think it's fun to run into that little corner. The only part of this arena that Cisco did not do by himself and was contracted out to someone else are the gates. The gates were done by a good friend in Flagstaff using similar pipe, and we actually did give him all the dimensions so that everything could match, so that these bars match up pretty equally, especially when a gate is shut. It should match even so that everything looks uniform. So that was the only part that was contracted out, are the gates. Cisco did still do the latches. So we just gave the measurements on the gates, and then Cisco got it and did the latches. A few side notes: the soil in our arena is the natural ground. We just had it de-rocked, and it's honestly pretty good ground for what we do. We do notice that when it rains, it holds water, probably like most arenas, and it does need to be worked after rain, especially otherwise it wants to pack. So maybe that will be something in the future we do improve upon, but for now, we're working with what we got, and it's pretty good. Along the lines of working with what we've got, here's our version of a homemade drag. This was an old piece of farming equipment that was left at my dad's ranch house. Cisco welded some sucker rods to kind of make some teeth, and we're working with it. That'll be another upgrade we want to make when we can, but for now, we're working with what we got, and it's doing a pretty good job, so thanks, old farm equipment. The last thing I wanted to give you guys was an overview of the dimensions of our arena looking at it sky view. So the actual riding space is about 208 feet wide and 320 feet long. The distance between that perimeter fence on the west side, so the right side of the screen, to the double fence line that can shut everything off is about 58 feet. And our Connex box is about 40 feet long. That'll be the future tack shed. Our round pen is 50 foot in diameter. And going to the other side of the arena, all of our alleys or lanes are about 8 feet wide. We made it like that so we could get a skid steer in if needed. Our steer pens are about 53 feet wide each. But the length was really determined by that wash that you can see on the left-hand side of the screen running through the property. That's why some of the steer pens are much bigger, and that last one ended up just being a little triangle piece of the pie. There was a lot of welding done to complete this arena. Cisco welded for 3 months straight. I think it was definitely worth it. I know I wasn't the one doing the work, but to have this quality final product that we know is going to hold up a lifetime. So everyone, say thank you to Cisco in the comments for putting the work in to make us a very nice welded arena. We also have my dad, Jim, Pat, Norval, Darius, lots of other people to thank for taking their weekends to come help if necessary or if they had the free time. So lots of family and friends that helped us get this dream arena, and we just love it, and we're just so excited to share it with you. What do you think of the C&A Horses Arena? What would you change if you owned it? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to see everyone's feedback. I think it's pretty cool. I'm in love. This is my dream arena, and before I let you go, let's go get Cisco's opinion. In true Cisco fashion, he's got another project going, so let's see if he'll answer our arena questions. What are you doing right now?
I am trying to get the starter off of the truck.
Oh. So what do you think about our arena?
I love it.
And if you're going to do it differently, if you're going to do it again, what would you do differently?
Not much. I like it just the way it is. I do believe.
And what size is the oil fill pipe?
2 3/8.
And what size sucker rod?
1 inch.
Are you excited to have a C&A arena?
Yeah. I like it.
You're a busybody, huh?
Yeah, I can't get this off of there.
Your hands are dirty.
Yeah. This might be a project for someone else.
So would you say you could add arena building to your resume?
Yeah, but I don't want to do it.
How do you know how to weld an arena?
I just do.
You just learned by yourself?
I just do. Worked for people. I just learned how to weld. I wonder if I can go up through there.
Let's see if Milo has anything to say about our arena.
He's sleeping. He's tired.
Milo, what are you doing? Do you like our arena? Oh, you're so cute. Okay, I think that's all I'm gonna get out of him. He's busy being a mechanic today.
Yeah, mechanicking today. Mechanicking.
You heard it from the man himself. What can I say? I do want to give one last big shout out to Richard. He supplied the drone that I used to capture all of the shots from above and the different angles that I could not have done on foot. So thank you for that awesome filming tool, Richard. We love ya. And that wraps up the C&A Arena Tour. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you think in the comments. We'll catch you on the next one. If you enjoy our adventures and you want to follow along all other future projects, go ahead, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and if you liked this video, give us a thumbs up. We'll catch you on the next one. Have a great day.